Awesome. All right. So this is awkward, but I get to introduce myself. I'm Seth Hillinger. I'm organizer of the New York Music Tech Meetup. I am also founder of my new startup here, and it's not that new, but it's new to you, and it's called AudioDrops. And AudioDrops is a location-based music discovery platform, experience, mobile app to begin with. And this is what it looks like. So real quick, I'll tell you what these circles are. These circles are drops that are nearby. And so when you click on one, it tells you how far away you are and who dropped it and what direction it's in. It's using the compass. And we can also scroll down and so yeah, I've created some drops. This is my user. And in my user profile, you can see what drops I created and when, but not exactly where. And so you could follow me. And what I'd love, actually, is for all of you to install the app in the App Store. It's called AudioDrops. Right now, you have to make sure that there's no spaces and you put an S at the end. But as soon as Apple approves the next version, you won't have to do that. And what I'd love for you to do after you install the app is find the music texter user and follow him, because I created a little walk for us to do after this event. And I really don't want to tell you too much about it. It's kind of an experience that you need to just go outside and do. Like I can simulate my location for y'all on my laptop, but it's just not the same as going outside into the world and locking your phone, putting it in your pocket, putting your headphones on, and seeing a connection between what you're listening to and the world around you. So in that regard, it's kind of like augmented audio. The simple description for it is like Pokemon Go for music. Perhaps a little more adult than that. We don't really have any games. But anyone can leave a drop anywhere. So we can, if we search, say, DJ Shadow, I don't know, and I spelled it wrong. Let's try that again. DJ. Oh my God. There we go. So if you search DJ Shadow, it will query Spotify or SoundCloud, and we can preview it or drop it right here and leave a message. If you include a link in the message, it's clickable, and there's a small little map to confirm that that's where you're leaving it. But part of the fun is not having the map at all. We have a audio compass as well, which I don't think, oh yeah, you can hear it. So when you set your waypoint, that's the yellow drop. When you have headphones on, the compass will ping in your right ear when the drop is to your right, or in your left ear. And it just kind of makes some cool sound effects when you're going in the right direction. And that's about it. You can filter, well, that's not it. You can filter by everyone. You can see all the drops around you. Or you can just say, show me this user's drops, which they don't have any. But if I select music texter, you'll see the walking tour that I've created for us. So I hope after we're all done hanging out later, we can all go for a little walk. And it will lead us to a bar called Liquorette, and we'll have a little after party there. So, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to tell you. Yeah. You can connect Spotify and SoundCloud. If you do that, then it'll play the whole Spotify track. So do that. And and then of course you have your collection. So once you discover a drop, it gets added to your collection. And inside of that, you can see how far away you are from the drop right now, who left it, how many times you've been there, all that good stuff, and you can always listen to it again. And yeah.
We're not going to let you out of the building unless you prove that you downloaded the app.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah. I definitely wish that Apple like approved the latest version, but you guys, I would love for you to just install the app, and then when the update comes out, check it out. And so that's AudioDrops.
Are you going to integrate like any running or any apps like that where people, I can see us using that when you're running something or something?
Yeah, totally. What I would love is for curators who like to create playlists for running to get involved and then be able to share their profiles with people. And so if those curators have like a running playlist and they have people that are already like following them on Spotify or SoundCloud, then this is basically a new way for them to curate outside of those platforms. Yeah.
I love the concept of associating music with a specific place. Are you planning on allowing people to upload audio directly into it? If I'm at a place and I want to leave a thought in music, just like from that place, is there any plan to do that?
The easiest way to do it is to use like a SoundCloud recording app, which there are many, and then post it to SoundCloud, and then we pull in your saved tracks from SoundCloud. So from a licensing standpoint, we're trying to avoid hosting any sort of music.
Smart.
I like the concept a lot too, like associating like a physical. So like whenever I go somewhere or think of a memory, a lot of times a song will play, right?
Yeah.
But I have Android, so
It's coming.
what are some what are a couple of your favorite drops?
Sorry?
What are a couple of your favorite drops?
What are a couple of my favorite drops?
Yeah.
Well, actually, so in creating the walk today, I've had a few interns help me out, but otherwise it's been me and a few advisors. One of the interns totally rickrolled me today. He left the drop in Chinatown. That was Rick Ashley, and it's so that was pretty funny. We've created a few experiences that are out there in the world. I forgot to mention that. One was for the Future of Storytelling, which took place about a month ago. There are two walks. There's one in Central Park that's all audiobooks about Central Park, and there's snippets from those books. That's really cool. It's something to experience. And then we also did the History of Harlem music walk through Harlem. So those are both out there in the world.
Working on that use case, I find that in the museum, kind of have that big use case. Is there any desire to branch out into that space?
Totally. We're in contact with like a museum that's doing a retrospective on an artist, and maybe this would be a way to basically create an experience for people before they get to the museum or while they're there. We are using GPS, but if we hooked up iBeacons, which is kind of like an indoor experience, then we could go down that path.
How do you find the accuracy of GPS?
Pretty good. So we're doing a lot to manage your power on your phone, so it's not training it when you're not like in an aggressive mode. It's actually using something called region monitoring, which is lower power, and then when you jump in, then it goes more into a GPS. And so when you unlock a drop, you have to be within 100 feet of that drop, and GPS.
It's like a 10-meter.
Yeah, is that 100 feet? Yeah. yeah. So it can be more specific, but it's basically this. A drop is basically the size of a street corner. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you created this experience in Relief, and there's like a Central Park experience. Is there a sequential aspects to it? So you go to one point and then you and there's another point to get after that?
It's there in our API, but I haven't hooked it up yet. In part because I think that I want to see if people don't need it. In a way, it's kind of fun to just walk around and I don't necessarily want to guide you, that far, yeah. But it's there in case we need to use it, yeah.
Is there a queue? So like if you walked by several and you were still listening to one song, the other songs get queued up?
Yeah, so if you're listening to a song and you get to a location, it's not going to stop what you're listening to, but it will get added to your collection, and then you can listen to it again later. So yeah, that's kind of how we're handling that right now.
You have to be physically in a location to drop a drop, or
Yes.
say I used to live in New Orleans and I want to put one in the bio house.
Yeah.
They are physically connected.
Yes.
Virtually.
No, not on the mobile app, but that will be part of our enterprise level. So you can create a virtual drop, and that will be great for bands that are on tour, and or brands that have a lot of physical locations. Yeah, and so you'll be able to just kind of click around on a Google map and make virtual drops. Yeah. Or another use case is also sending a song to a friend or a loved one. So yeah, we actually, a lot of people really want to see that feature. So yeah, totally. Yep.
When do you think the Android pieces happen?
By January. Yeah. It's built in a hybrid platform called Ionic, so I'll be able to turn that around pretty quickly.
Do the drops have an expiration date? Are you ever worried about them getting really saturated when there's too many things going on?
Yeah, it's a great idea, and we aren't doing that yet, but there might be that coming where drops have a life, and maybe if a lot of people downvote it, it just disappears. The way it works right now is if you're in a saturated area, the most recent drop will play first.
Are they always public?
They
Can you
all,
make a private?
yeah, private drops will come probably with the one-to-one experience. Yeah, but yeah, right now they're all public. Awesome, thank you. All right. Okay, so we have one more demo, and then we're all going to get to hang out. Okay? So let me introduce your Heaven close-up mic system coming from Providence, Rhode Island.